Manchin and Sinema voted yes. They're finally seeing eye to eye. How many banks do you have? Do you have money with all of them? And how sure are you of their solvency? In today's fourth stimulus package update, as well as daily news report, we're going to talk about the bank runs and how some are already happening all over the world. What's going on, you guys? It's Ron here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, before we continue, we got a lot to cover today. Be sure to drop a like for the video. I really appreciate the support. Also consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you guys join our financial community. All right, guys, but let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and by the way, make sure to get your free home warranty quote link in the description down below. We recently had AC go out in the house and it was over 95 degrees, and thankfully the warranty company sent someone out immediately, got the AC repaired, and we're back in business. It was not cool to have an AC not working during a day where it was almost 100 degrees. Make sure to get your free home warranty quote link in the description down below. Now, when it comes to our money, there's a couple of things that we can't do. We can't have it all in the house because, that would be very tempting for crooks. We can't put it all into investments because we still need money to pay bills and liquidity, and we also need to keep an emergency fund. We wouldn't want to have all of our cash and assets tied up in volatile investments. And one thing that I tell all my friends, don't keep all your finances in one bank. Now, this is one mistake that we cannot make, and one that made a subscriber message me. See, this is why I love you guys. You guys listen and you're thinking outside the box when it comes to your money and your finances too. All right, so this is a screenshot that he sent me regarding the online banking that he can't see his money or any account details. It's all gone. And this is just 3 hours after ING Bank announced that they would discontinue their retail banking operations in the Philippines. But this didn't worry him as much as other users because, like all of you guys who are watching this video right here and now, he's smart and he didn't leave all his cash with one bank. ING Bank in that country rose during the health crisis as they offered higher than normal annual interest for their money. They also only provided online banking and did not have any physical bank locations where you could actually transact your business, walk into a bank branch, maybe even talk to a teller or a bank manager. This led to this subscriber writing in as, at this point, he has no access to his money and he can't use it until the app is fixed. But even if he does have most of his money in the bank, he watches the channel and he actually has a month's worth of cash reserve at home. Now imagine if he didn't listen and this happened. Which brings me to one of my points. Are you guys ready for something like this? What if you went to go log into your bank and you couldn't log in for whatever reason on their end? What if you needed to pay a bill like today and you couldn't get access to your cash? And as I said before, you need a bank at least because you can't keep all your money in your house. You got to keep it safe. You want to pay your bills, and leveraging banks to do that is one of the easiest ways. I just wouldn't keep all my money in the bank. You have to keep it safe. You got to pay your bills. You also have to gauge which banks are strong during this type of environment. Now, we've talked about news regarding one of the big banks right here in our country that's in trouble. And I don't want you guys to speculate, but we all know that Warren Buffett took out all of his investments with Wells Fargo when once upon a time he gave it the utmost praise. Yes, Warren Buffett took his investments out of Wells Fargo. Now, the one thing that we always have to consider is that, anything's possible and even the big boys can be taken down. Now, I'm not saying that Wells Fargo is the bank that everybody's talking about. It could be Bank of America, could be JP Morgan Chase, could be Citigroup. There's a whole bunch of big banks to choose from. Now, speaking about JP Morgan, they just laid off hundreds in home lending, with hundreds more employees to be resigned because of demand for home loans going down drastically. Now, this is going to affect at least 1,000 workers, with about half being moved to different divisions within the bank. How crazy is that? One of the biggest banks in the world and they're laying off employees? I wonder how many of those employees saved their third stimulus check for an emergency situation such as this one. Now, we've also talked about how subscription services like Hulu, Disney Plus, Spotify, they're all losing customers, and now Netflix just let 300 people go. The cuts were done in multiple business functions within the company, but a bulk of staffers that were lost from the US, they commented through a salesperson saying, "Today, we sadly let go of around 300 employees. While we continue to invest significantly in the business, we made these adjustments so that our costs are growing in line with our slowing revenue growth. We are so grateful for everything they have done for Netflix and are working hard to support them through this difficult transition." End quote. Now, we talked about this, you guys. These big mega corporations, these billion-dollar corporations, they're in this business. They're in business to make a profit. They're in business to expand their earnings per share, to expand their earnings per quarter, and to drive up revenues. And so when times get rough and people like you and me are canceling your subscription services, those revenues start to dry up real fast. And in order to preserve their profits, one of the easiest ways for a business to shore up some of their expenses is to let go of some of their overhead. And one of the most expensive areas of overhead for a business is going to be their employees. The value of the subscription service has gone down at least 70% since the first quarter. It's now becoming clear that during this economic meltdown, no one is safe. Which brings us to the next headline: gun control and safety. It's a very complicated issue at the moment, but whichever side you're on, I know that we all want the senseless violence to just stop. Just recently, the US Congress just passed a gun control bill, supposedly the most significant firearms legislation in almost 3 decades. The bill passed 234 to 193 votes, with 4 Republicans joining the Democrats in the House, surprisingly. The bill also passed in the Senate with 15 Republicans voting alongside Democrats in a late night vote of 65 to 33. The bill is now headed to President Biden to be signed into law. According to President Biden, after 28 years of inaction, bipartisan members of Congress came together to heed the call of families across the country and pass legislation to address the scourge of gun violence in our communities, end quote. But what does this reform entail? Well, for starters, background checks for those who are under 21 will be stricter. $15 billion in federal funding for mental health programs and school security upgrades, even more funding to encourage states to implement red flag laws to remove guns from people considered a threat. And it will also close the boyfriend loophole by blocking firearm sales to those convicted of abusing unmarried intimate partners. Now, historically, Republicans have blocked most of the efforts in strengthening gun laws in the country, but as this bill received bipartisan support, it's the first time in such a long time that reforms have actually received this level of support from both sides of the aisle. Even Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, they're on board. Although opposition from at least 2/3 of the Senate Republicans was still present, with Senator Ted Cruz, who is supposedly seeking the Republican presidential nomination for 2024, said that the bill was an attempt to try to disarm law-abiding citizens rather than take serious measures to protect our children. Even the NRA, or the National Rifle Association, has opposed the bill and said that it would not stop the violence. But what do you guys think? Do you think bills like this will actually become law and stop the gun-related violence that we've been seeing a lot lately? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this issue, because you guys have always had amazing insight on everything that's been going on in the country. So let me know what you guys think. Are you for this gun control law, or are you against this gun control law? Hit me up in the comments down below. And I know that this community is one of the best on YouTube because I'm always inspired by what you guys say in the comments and what you all send to me as well. Know that much of what we have become now is thanks to a lot of what you guys have offered. You guys are awesome, and I could not do it without you guys. Prepare now. Stimulus checks and tax refunds cannot come soon enough. Diesel and gas prices are soaring. With bans on food exports, droughts, and global inflation, empty shelves have been replaced by higher and higher food prices every time on our grocery store shelves. The price of milk, meats, eggs, and cooking oils, they're all hitting record highs. It seems like the middle class just can't catch a break. Have you ever dropped your phone and cracked the screen and wished you had insurance on it? Yeah, sucks, doesn't it? And you certainly wouldn't wreck your car and then go look for insurance, would you? I don't think so. Heating and air conditioning systems fail unexpectedly and cost thousands of dollars to repair. How about that upstairs toilet leaking downstairs? How about the water heater or a surprise leaky roof? Yep, could cost thousands. But don't let Murphy's Law catch you by surprise. Get your free home warranty quote and never have to worry about expensive home repairs again. Link in the description down below. That's right, you guys. Get your free home warranty quote, link in the description today. Now, if you are not a part of the community yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can subscribe to the channel, get in on the conversations via the comment section. And also, before we go, please don't forget to drop a like for the video. I really appreciate that. That always helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate the support. This is Ron, and I'll see you guys on the next video.